on this week. Wait, this week on
Sedanza.
Sedanza. I'm getting mad. I'm getting real mad, brother, at some Christian nationalist idiots, not good people. And I'm just gonna keep getting mad, I think, for the next 4 years, but in particular tonight. So get ready for that and more on
Sedanza.
Season's greetings, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Sedanza. I'm Objectively Dan. That's Prophet Azad. We are Sedanza, and you are the Zod, and that's Sedanza. Thanks for supporting us every single week. Zod, 2 weeks ago, shit hit the fan real quick, and we had to recompose ourselves. And we've been doing a lot of talking, you and I. We're like, what do we do? What's meaningful? What's worth it? Right? Because like we just talk about a bunch of silly stuff a lot of times. Sometimes we're serious, but a lot of silly stuff. And you know what? The truth is we can only do so much. But what I know to be true is Christian nationalism is going to be and is a fucking problem. And so I want to address that fucking problem by dunking on these hoes, dunking on the ones who are actively pushing this stuff, putting it out there and fighting back against these goddamn bullies. I'm already getting fired up about it. And I'm wearing this hat because the guy who we're talking about today also wears a hat. His name is Joel Webbon. We've talked about him before, but we're going to give him a full reckoning today, Zod. And that is the agenda that I have set. Any notes on that?
It's quite a nice hat. That's my only
yeah.
note.
Okay, thanks.
It really classes you up.
Yeah. Isn't it great? It's really good.
An estimation of how educated you are, like, went up, like, I don't know.
I think I look like an ice road trucker. You know, remember that? Do they still have that on TV? Probably. Was that National Geographic?
Oh.
You know?
Yeah.
Good stuff. Good stuff. We already have some super chats. That's awesome.
Yeah. Would you like to read them?
I'll do that real quick and then I'll let you talk. Alan Showerman giving $1.99. Thank you so much, Alan, for that. And a $10 donation from Connor Runda, who says, relaxing with brighter shores, RuneScape like from the developer of RuneScape, and sitting listening to you two. Hopefully a fun one tonight. Cheers, but in Irish. Damn, what the fuck? They got a RuneScape light. Hold on. I gotta check that out. That is on the to-do list.
Brighter shores.
Anyway, Zod, what do you think about my powerful, impactful speech that will inspire generations to come?
It was fine. What really tied it together, though, was the hat.
Thanks. There's a reason. It's coming. We'll get there. But
the hat took it from like pretty good speech to like, this will go down as a historical piece of oratory.
I believe that. What's funny about hats is I just have a big head, and this one actually doesn't fit me too well. I won this at my high school reunion. Actually, they had a grab bag of stuff, and this was one of them. It's just like, it's a silly hat. I should wear it, and I never remembered that.
What is that logo?
Oh, it's just from the town of. It says Discover Woodway, which is a sort of a subdivision in Waco. So. There you go. Go check out Waco.
Discover a subdivision, huh?
Yeah, basically.
There's a house and there's another house and there's a street.
And I'm actually also wearing the matching shirt. See, because they both have leaves on it. So it's all part of the fit today.
You're part of the Hidden Leaf?
Hidden Leaf Village? Like Naruto?
Yeah, except it's a different logo.
Oh, yeah, it's true. Do you know about Naruto, Zod? What the hell?
Oh, my son watches all that stuff with me, so you know
that makes more sense.
I know at least the basic white kid anime.
Okay, you scared me for a second there. I was like, what's happening? Like, I thought there was a clear generational divide there, but it melded a bit by you having kids. Yeah, there you go. Okay, so
fun fact, we have a ramen shop up here called Naruto.
like in reference to the anime, or is it just like its
Oh,
own thing?
I would guess it's in reference to it, but who knows?
Okay, well, that's interesting. Listen, I'm down to read your Naruto fan fiction some other time, but right now we have to talk about Joel fucking Webbon, aka Timu Matt Walsh. I hate this man. I hate this man with all my guts because he's a loser and he's a
Can I say one
bully.
thing though first?
Yes, go
Sorry.
ahead.
Connor Runda said lots of filler, which Naruto does have a lot of filler, but if you're going to watch it, look up the canon episodes versus the filler episodes and feel free to just mainly watch the canon episodes. That will help the pacing along a little bit.
You don't know. You're just saying that. You don't know. You don't know,
Oh.
Zod. How much? Name 3 characters from Naruto. Actually, hold on. I'm testing you right now. Don't Google shit.
There's Naruto.
Hands up, Zod. Put your hands up. Hands up. Hands in the air. No, both of them. Both of them, you son of a bitch. Put them up. Okay, 3 characters from Naruto. Go.
Naruto.
Yeah.
Sakura.
You Googled it before.
No, I didn't.
I don't trust you.
Oh, you don't want me to count. You want to see that I'm not typing. It honestly has been a while, so I don't remember the names. There's the kid he was good friends with and tried to rescue, but the guy keeps going bad and keeps trying to fight him.
Yes.
I'm forgetting his name.
That's Sasuke. Yep.
Yeah, Sasuke. Okay, yeah. There's I'm spacing on names. There's the guy who's made out of insect. No, he's not made out of insects. He controls insects.
Yep. That's the thing.
Oh, there's Lee, who's like a total dork.
Brock Lee.
He doesn't use chakra.
We love Brock. We love him.
And of course his trainer, who he dresses just like, and they're both dorks.
Okay. All right. You pass. That's it. That's good. I like doing random Inquisition style questionings about your knowledge of anime. That was a fun activity. I enjoyed that.
One of the best plot threads was when that one genius, the genius strategy kid. Again, I'm spacing on all the names. He's like really good at strategy. His teacher died, and a lot of the episode is just him sitting there playing a board game with his dad while his dad talked him through how to deal with it and stuff.
Okay. All right. Zod has seen Naruto. That's I'm adding that to my pocket of things that might be useful to me one day.
No, I've watched way more anime than you would ever expect, just because I mainly sit and do stuff with my kid.
Okay. We need to have a Zadanza anime stream at some point, obviously. All right. Okay. All right. Well, that's good. Anyway, Joel Webbon sucks. He's the worst. And I don't think he's actually a huge influence. I think he's one of those guys, Sod, where it's like, you know that he's in the space, so he gets invited to be on all the podcasts and conferences and stuff, but like nobody actually watches his stuff or cares. That's the kind of impression I get of Joel Webbon. You know what I mean? He's kind of like just a guy that people know because he's been in some stuff, but nobody cares about himself. Does that make sense? You know, people kind of like that.
Yeah, he's like the very neat. Only the weird people are into this stuff. Kind of like, okay, I'm not calling our people weird, but nobody's going to know about us outside people who have a specific interest in this. I think his influence is mainly in people who just are specifically interested.
We don't have a national appeal, right?
Yeah.
Right. We don't have a national appeal. And I don't think Joel Webbon has a national appeal, but the people who are like bigger than Joel are getting their ideas from people like Joel. And that's why people like Joel piss me off. And that's why I specifically want to start this, I don't know, maybe series of talking about Theo Bros with Joel Webbon, because we have talked about him before. You're a little bit familiar with him, and he just sucks and he's terrible, and I don't like him. So that's it.
And he doesn't have to have any influence or reach to be.
Yeah,
like it's all in his intentions. And so if he says certain things and has certain intentions, it doesn't matter if he's not influential. He intends for those messages to get out there. And even if he only influences a few men in a niche group, those men are going to go home and have an impact on their families or whoever around them. And so it's still not cool.
I agree. And that in itself, I think, is worth talking about. And so I want to talk about that today. But before I move on, not this comment. Christopher Tavant says, I feel like Zod could get into a shorter single season anime like Bebop or Fooly Cooley. And absolutely, Zod, you should watch Bebop or Fooly Cooley, actually. Well, you probably like Bebop more. You know,
Cowboy Bebop?
Hell yeah. Not the
We
live
start-
action Netflix
No.
adaptation. That shit sucked.
We started watching the anime,
Oh,
and we
okay,
just
good.
didn't get too far into it.
The dub or the sub?
Probably dub.
Hell yeah. That's real shit right there. We love it. Okay, good. All right, we're gonna talk about anime some other time. That's awesome. I now have more things to tease Zod about, so that's excellent. Always a good day for me when that happens. Yeah, I just want to talk about this guy. You want to jump right into this man's heinous words and why I hate him so much?
Sure.
Okay.
No, okay, but I need to know going in
Yeah.
on a scale of like 1 to 10. It
Mhm.
doesn't make much sense. I'll just put it like this.
Yeah.
How do you feel like your hatred of him compares to your hatred of, say, Brad Stein?
Yeah, I knew you were gonna bring up Brad Stein. Here's the thing about Brad Stein. I think Brad Stein, like I suspect Brad Stein like at least loves his family. I don't think Joel Webbon treats his family as well. That's that's the difference. Like Brad Stein is like
You mean Brad Stein, who thinks sex is the payoff for putting up with his wife?
yeah. Brad Stein is more cartoonishly. He's like a Doofenshmirtz villain.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like still evil, heinous things, but like kind of funny. Joel Webbon is more of a I don't know, Doctor Doom type, a little more nefarious and like out there and weird, you
To be
know.
fair to Brad Stein, which is not something I go out of my way to hurry up and do, I don't think I think his comment was just unfortunate wording and just babbling on stupidly about stupid things. I don't think it really reflects how he probably goes home and acts toward his wife and his children.
Yeah.
You can tell the difference, I think.
Yeah. Whereas I can't really tell. I think Joel Webbon has actual hatred in his heart. We showed a clip of him before being super racist, and guess what? We're gonna show more of that today. So get ready for it. But I'm ready to jump in personally.
Was he the people at the pool who wouldn't protect his family guy?
Yes, is that
Oh
guy.
geez. Oh
Yeah.
geez.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. You see, you know. Okay, I have oh man, this is gonna be good. Let's start with this one. Da, da, da. Would you want to start with like the most what I think is the most egregious one, or should we build up to it? Maybe we should build up to it. What do you think? Maybe we should build up to it.
Sure.
Okay, I'm just saying things out loud. You're just like saying whatever. Okay, so first clip here
It's your show
is
and tell. I'm just here for the ride.
well, so here's his dumb hat. Okay, now you get to know why I wore my hat. So he's wearing his. Joel Webbon talking about the 19th Amendment stealing half of his vote. And I have a couple of different clips here just from different stuff that he's said, just for us to kind of react to. I also have some stuff from his website, but just to kind of get you an idea of like what this man's mindset is. I already see you squinting your eyes, Zod. You have comments?
I already dislike him because of that jacket.
Like
He's trying to look rugged and tough and outdoorsy, and it looks ridiculous when you're sitting in a wood paneled house with books and behind a microphone.
It's the fucking Rick Perry look, dude. It is. Yeah. he's got the hat with the Rick Perry. I don't know. He looks like he's about to like interview on like a rap channel or something, which is hilarious because I have a clip of him talking about how much he hates rap that we'll look at in just a second. But yeah, it's not a good look.
And
it's not a good look.
Every intangible about him tells me that look isn't fitting. Like his beard is like groomed like he's an indoor dog, not an outdoor dog. It's like, you know what I mean? Like everything
yeah.
It's not working for me.
This is the beard of a man with a weak chin. Okay, that's what that is. This has to be true. I've never seen his chin, and that's how I know. But yeah, it's
I'll say sorry, I'm just way hung up on this. I would say that beard is real. That's my estimation.
Yes.
But his hair is way too thick, such as that when he grooms it, it looks like he glued a fake beard on.
Yes.
Doesn't he look like that?
It does. I think in other shots it looks a little bit better, to be fair. But in this frame, yeah, it's not very good.
When you can see the shadow where he trimmed it down. So it looks like it is real, but it's off-putting. He shouldn't have a beard. That's my opinion.
Yeah, he has a lot of weirdo opinions and stuff. So this is a guy. Okay, I forgot to mention this part too. One reason why I want to talk about Joel Webbon, why I want to start with him. One, because we talked about him before, and I mentioned that. But two, Zod, I found out he lives in Austin. This dude lives in Austin. Well, he lives in Georgetown, which is basically Austin. Okay. And that makes me even angrier because, of course, he gets to like absorb all the cool parts of living in a city like Austin and still talk shit about like Democrats and liberals. So it makes me hate him even more, to be honest. So that's my feelings on this. But look, we're over 15 minutes in. Let's get started on this, shall we? Short clip here. Short clip for our commentary.
Hold on, somebody has some advice for you, real quick.
Oh yeah,
go poop in his bushes.
Oh, well, this is like, this is as far as I want to touch this man. Okay, like I don't know if I'd ever want to. If I saw him at the grocery store, no comment. I say no comment because I don't want anything.
Don't ever actually. We do not condone any kind of action against people other than throwing our ideas out into the marketplace.
Yeah, and he, by the way, he says way worse things about strangers than I will ever say about him, and we'll get to that. So, we'll just dive right in on this clip. It's just such a weird fucking take. Oh wait, this one. Here we go. Whoop.
Yeah.
Before I was ever born, because of the 19th Amendment, the way I see it is half of my household vote was stolen from me, and my loving, godly, wonderful wife. What we're practicing is not hypocrisy. What we're practicing is restitution. My loving wife said, wicked people stole half of your vote, husband, and I would like to give it back to you. So there you go. So we voted for Donald Trump.
Wicked people stole your vote, and I'm giving
wicked people stole your vote. What do you think he means by that, Zod?
I don't think it takes too much imagination to put the pieces together.
Yeah.
He thinks the wicked people are the people who gave the women the vote. That's what I'm guessing.
Mm-hmm.
And she's giving it back. Well, they took his vote by allowing women to vote because apparently he's entitled to. Assuming men and women are 50-50, he's entitled to basically twice as much voice. And so when you give that voice to other people, he loses half of his. She's gifting it back by voting the same way he is.
Correct. Okay. Yes. So we'll get into his theology a little bit, but Joel Webbon is one of those dudes who like unironically like has a planner for his wife. Okay. Like actually like schedules out what his wife needs to do for him and probably treats her like a, like a secretary, like she does not have full autonomy over what she can do and what she can't do. There's one thing we'll look at later if we get to the website about how he told his wife like that she wasn't allowed to read a book that he didn't want her to read. Right. So in his mind, in the theonomy, which is his whole thing, right? In the Christian nationalist worldview, women are 100% subordinate to men. And maybe he'll like, debate about the exact metrics of that, like what's the real day in day out of that, but absolutely there's no question he thinks that men should be the ones ruling the world, not women. And so I guess the 19th Amendment, for those of you who don't know, the amendment that allows women to vote, is bad for that. So there you go.
Well, the way that conversation goes just says an awful lot. Like if his wife really thought to come up to him and say something like that, that's just like extremely creepy. And she agrees to just an extremely damaging automatic level of deference to him. If she didn't say that and he thought that if this goes through his head as a model of how a wife and a husband should behave, that's very disturbing in and of itself. Like this is just horrifying.
Yeah. Well, let's hear more about his specific views about how women should be, expected to behave around men, particularly Christian men. What are you gonna say?
I said, "Oh, please, let's."
Oh yeah, let's do it. Here we go.
One word that women should avoid. It's the antithesis of what a woman should be. As the Bible speaks to women, the word would be this: loud. For men, don't be weak. For women, Don't be loud. There's a way for a woman to talk in her speech loudly. There's a way for a woman in her life, with her deeds and actions, to behave and live loudly. And everything in our culture today, women, they want you to be men. Be aggressive. Be aggressive. If you're a young man and you're looking for good advice, how to be masculine, just look at what our culture writes for women. The advice that our culture everywhere gives to women is great advice for men. Be more domineering, be more assertive, be more confident, be more.
I just want to point out, sorry for the artifacts in the background. This is from Joel Webbon's church that he has here in Georgetown. So, great audio team working with him on that stuff. But yeah,
Yeah, I think the
ahead.
baby is supposed to be the audience surrogate. Like,
yeah, it really is. So yeah, women are being too loud. Zod. Can't have women be loud.
This is just standard man with a grievance about women having rights, or I don't know. This is really pretty basic stuff. I wouldn't even say this is uniquely Christian. This is just men who think women are too uppity, or I don't know. And like, what kind of weak ass guy are you where you're like that threatened by women having a voice or being told to be assertive or whatever?
Yeah, I like that he's saying, oh, if you want to be masculine in this country, look at what women are doing, which is, I guess, speaking up for themselves in some sort of way. Of course, they always talk in these generalities because they can never be too specific. Otherwise, their point is stupid and you'd see right through it. But yeah, it's just the shitty take for sure.
Well, he says this is excellent advice for men. Be more domineering, be more assertive, be more. He does that horrible be aggressive thing that I'm not even.
That's the little song.
Copying, but he's like more compared to what is a really important part of this. Like if you're telling women to be more assertive, maybe it's because traditionally and even legally they weren't given permission to be assertive enough.
Yeah.
Like
I think you're thinking too intelligently about this, Zod. I think your thoughts might harm or disrupt, Joel's whole thing here. He's got a good thing, being a pastor, telling people what to do, telling his wife what to do. Don't ruin that for him. Okay.
He's also, according to Tilting Windmill, I'm surprised he's not upset with the mother of a baby for letting it interject its thoughts.
He probably is. He probably is kind of pissed at it, honestly.
Now, is it a boy baby or a girl baby, though?
That matters. That matters. You're right. I'll let this clip finish off here.
Be more. What it's saying is be loud. Be loud. But what God's word says is be quiet. You can live quietly. You can speak with a quiet way. This doesn't mean that women don't talk. There's a way of talking and asking questions and being a social butterfly, and yet at the same time not having a loud spirit. The last thing that I want to get to as it pertains to the seventh commandment, our text today, is this. There's a way not only of living loudly, talking loudly, but also dressing loudly. Loud dress, loud apparel. Like a golden ring in the snout of a pig, so too it is with a woman who is not modest. There's a way of dressing loudly, a way that Jezebel painted her face and said, look at me. Look at me. She is being loud.
Like putting on a poser
The Bible
jacket
says
when
that
you're
men
sitting
should
in
be
the library.
strong, not weak.
Yeah.
Women should be beautiful, not ugly. And beauty is defined as the imperishable beauty of the heart, which is quiet and gentle, not loud.
Yeah, so women, shut the fuck up is what Joel is saying. Okay, if you are actually making real social change or progress, basically anything meaningful with your words, you need to be quiet. Is what's happening here.
Yeah, this is just a very, very, very insecure, stupid man, I think.
He really is. Can I tell you, Zod, I have 6 clips here for you, and these are by far the least troublesome. the two we've watched so far.
Oh, I look forward to
So,
seeing what lies ahead in our adventure.
yeah, it's
You can tell this guy just sits here and seethes at everything a woman does, probably including his wife and his mother. Like either he's just constantly critiquing every little thing, or just every noise, every opinion just sits there and nods
yeah.
at him.
I love that he gives women permission. He's like, "Oh, you can talk amongst your friends. Oh yeah, that's fine. I'm allowing you to do that. The Bible's allowing you to do that. You know. Thanks, Joel. I really appreciate you telling women to do that for you. Yeah, this is definitely, again, this is pastors in general, but guys like him who like don't have, like, I'm sorry, real fucking jobs, right? Who like don't have to work with other people to like get stuff done besides his little probably dictatorship of a church ministry. Understand why women are awesome and contribute to things. I think maybe he's annoyed because the women in his life probably were undereducated because of hucksters like himself were probably telling them that they couldn't go to school and couldn't do the things they wanted to do. So he's just kind of perpetuating a problem that he himself is living in, I guess.
I think a lot of this is just as simple as he's a very difficult person to get along with. Like I would guess he's just a control freak, and he's probably as annoyed with anybody else who disagree with him as a woman. That framework is just, well, he probably has a specific grudge against women, but that specific framework is just one way to tell people to shut up and just listen to me and do what I want. But I'm willing to pretty close to guarantee like he doesn't put up with any back talk in his church, or like, there's not a lot of healthy back and forth between him and his board or anything like that.
Oh
You
yeah.
can tell those kinds of pastors.
Yeah, definitely. And he doesn't just have a problem with women, if you can believe it. So can you guess who else he has a problem with?
The gays?
How about black people?
Oh, God damn it.
Let's listen to his opinion about rap music.
Let me guess, they need to have a more gentle spirit too.
Yeah, let's figure out. We're gonna figure it out.
Rap
Okay.
being a legit,
Oh,
the idea of rap being a legitimate source of art and music, I reject. So I'm not just saying, oh, I don't like it because I'm white, and and art is perceived by
Oh, God.
objective, and different people have different tastes. No, I'm going to go on record saying objectively, if you think that Mozart and I don't know, 50 Cent or whatever, Jay-Z, that it's just tomato, then
All
you
these
have
old
no
ass
IQ.
weird-
You are a stupid person.
Like, oh, that was. Oh,
Isn't that great? How curious. How curious. I don't see him complaining about
he
country
just objectively
music.
rejects it as an art form, huh?
Yeah. It's interesting because like I don't think substantially country music is much more intellectually refined than rap music, or even rap or emo. I mean, there's certainly deep subjects, but like by this man's comparison, it's weird how he kind of singles out rap music, huh? Just
Wait,
kind of a thought.
are you suggesting, Dan? Are you suggesting that he's zeroing in on the one that black people do? Is that
No, of course not, Todd. Of course. Which is also funny because it's like he names 50 Cent. First of all, who 50 Cent? Who's listening to 50 Cent in 2024? I don't know. And then also Jay-Z. It's like, okay, you guys like heard about rap on the radio in like 2001. And like you haven't heard about it since. So I don't know how you can just completely judge an entire musical genre as being insufficient because it doesn't compare to fucking Mozart. Like, okay.
and you listen, and you back then you knew about the ones that only the whitest white people know about. Like,
yeah.
Come on.
I don't know. But I don't think Joel could actually name a single Mozart song he liked, by the way. That's usually the thing I find with these people. This is a thing I don't talk about too often because I haven't actually played in a while. I am a violinist. I'm a classically trained violinist. I've played and studied and looked at Mozart more than Joel Webbon will ever even comprehend in his fucking life. And let me tell you, rap is fucking awesome. That shit's fire because it's different for different situations. Like there's more to life than just liking music by white people. I don't know. It's ridiculous.
It kind of, a lot of it hails back to like pre-written poetry. Like the way you, I mean, poetry was originally meant to be recited or spoken out loud and sometimes improvised. And I don't think rap is quite this new, simple, stupid thing that he thinks it is.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of like rap is such a diverse and oftentimes even an eclectic genre with how much you can do with it. But I think that nuance is lost on a guy like Joel.
Yeah.
Obviously it's not.
He doesn't want to know. It's as simple as that.
No,
like
of course not.
the
but like it's so funny. I don't know. Go ahead.
The best way to tell how much art there is in something is to listen to somebody who's really bad doing it, and then you'll really appreciate the actual talent that goes into it.
That's true. It's not to say that there's not like that all rap is equal or anything. Like, oh, absolutely not. Especially if you're just talking about pop hits too, you know? Like,
yeah.
There's so much to it. But I don't know, that's like a Rush Limbaugh take. Like, I don't know I didn't realize there were still people today having takes like that. But I guess I'm wrong. So
yeah.
There you go. Let's see. Let's go to this next one. And again, I'm getting more progressively heinous. I've decided this is the order that we're doing these. We have one here talking about what a just society should do. Maybe I should have looped this in with the women one actually. But Joel Webbon has
your titles are kind of giving away the game.
They kind of do, and this is the problem with doing the YouTube tab thing. But yeah, this is a really good one, I'd say. Let's have a listen.
In a just society, adulterers would be punished as criminals, and in some cases, Calvin would probably argue in many or most cases, the penalty would be capital punishment, in which case divorce would not be necessary because there would not be a spouse left living to divorce.
That's it. So very interesting that Joel has this take, because I am 125% sure with a 25% margin of error that Joel Webbon voted for Donald J. Trump for the election, known serial adulterer. So I don't know what that says. Maybe he thinks Donald Trump should literally die. But kind of interesting, huh? Really cool.
Well, the Supreme Court ruled that probably even retroactively, all the adultery was done in his official capacity as president. Unless prosecution.
That's a good one. That's a good one. You shouldn't say shit like that because he will unironically use that as defense, I feel like.
Yeah. Well, that sounds like kind of a gotcha, but we're like so deep into gotchas with Trump and people who still support him, and they just flatly deny it. I mean, he would probably say that never really happened, or, Stormy Daniels was all made up, or they were just chilling. Or, I don't know.
But no, well, he's been divorced though, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he is talking about people. He's saying there's going to be no need for divorce. So I think that he would still be an adulterer if you remarry. I think he's one of those guys,
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. It all sucks, Sod. You're not as enthused anymore, Is Joel bringing you down, Zod?
No, he has me in a tremendously good mood. Let's please watch more.
All right, well, great.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
I just want to point out this one from Alan Showerman, another $1.99. It says Mozart sucks. Mozart's interesting. What people don't know about Mozart is that he was like super crazy. I think it's often been said that he was kind of like the Kanye West of his time, and that's absolutely true. He was balls to the walls. But music people typically aren't the most mentally sound always, shall we say. That's not like a known reputation amongst artists. So there you go.
Yeah, I would say anybody who's obsessed with an art is probably generally a little unstable by nature, and you're just going to, even just YouTubing, if you're invested in something where you produce something that you're proud of and that it's considered a little bit of an art, or you want audience feedback, you're always on emotional ups and downs, and you're probably a little predisposed to them. And I would say that probably,
but that's what makes him awesome. I want weird people in the world, not like Joel. Joel can go fuck himself, but I mean like people who are creative and have interesting ideas and perspectives.
That's kind of like what Whiplash is about. Have you ever seen Whiplash?
Yeah, Whiplash is awesome.
Yeah, it's basically about you can't really ever get really great about something unless you're a complete asshole who's totally messed up.
Yeah, That movie was sick. Everybody should watch Whiplash. Speaking of good movies, I watched Baby Driver for the first time like a week or two ago. Have you seen Baby Driver? That movie's
Yeah.
awesome.
My oldest son showed me that. My kids show me all the things I watch, apparently.
I guess your kids are awesome tastemakers here. They're telling you about Naruto and fucking Baby Driver. So you
David
got good
Lynch.
kids.
They start, my
That's what I'm
oldest son started getting me into David Lynch. Or
David
getting me into
Lynch.
it.
Okay.
Getting me into it's a strong way of putting it, but he shows me a lot.
Okay, well that's really good. Let's get to some more clips then. Since
can I just tie together one little thread that I'm noticing?
Of course.
It seems like a common thing throughout. Okay, except maybe the rap thing. There's a lot of this seems to be he feels out of control or just wants to control his marriage relationship. Like, how much of this is just about wanting his home life and his marriage to be completely predictable and enforced by law?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's the thing with a lot of these guys.
Yeah. So again, like Joel's whole thing is theonomy, and that's a fancy way of saying Christian nationalism. But he truly does believe in sort of a divine government. He thinks that this can be somehow, ordained on this earth, and of course, he happens to have the right interpretation of it. And yeah, I don't know if it's like. It's kind of like one of those things where it's like, do you just have like extreme OCD, and is this manifesting in the form of like controlling other people and their beliefs and how they live their life? I don't know. But it's definitely very weird and not normal. So,
well, and it's the fundamental danger of, well, I'd say religion in general, but especially fundamentalist religion, where there's the permission structure set up for you to say that you know the will of God, or that you have a divine reason for dictating what people do with their lives. These people are always going, like, this kind of conclusion will always be a possibility as long as that like kind of conversation is possible. And anybody who does anything better or gentler than this does it by accident or because they're letting secular values. I mean, we all know that stuff, but it's always worth remembering this stuff it comes from an ugly place in an ugly person, but it happens to this extent and can only happen to this extent because religion gives him the right to say God wants whatever he wants God to want.
Yeah. And because he just is a rude person. And that's why, I do legitimately think Joel Webbon is a cuck for Christian nationalism, because like he's kind of, forced to say that, oh, everything he's saying is for this ideology. He can't have his own personal convictions. That's what's interesting about being a Christian, is that at the end of the day, your opinions have to match up with what the Bible says or what you think the Bible says. You can't just say something because you think it's right or wrong, or science or whatever. Like, there's no other source besides, well, this is what God wants, and this is my interpretation of what God wants. And I think that's fucking sad for you, and also a thinly veiled disguise for your own problematic behaviors. But
I don't think. Okay, it's a little bit mixed. I don't think you necessarily need to like get rid of your opinion and only follow what the Bible says. I think a lot of it is you can just claim that your opinion is the opinion of God, which that's like what we saw in God's Not Dead 4 when Pastor Dave said, he's in the bathroom wiping his face with rough sandpaper paper towels and saying, God, please speak through me. Like, if you think that when you're speaking, it's God speaking through you, you represent his will, you're not surrendering your will at all. You're just claiming that your will is the actual divine will of God. And you're just an authoritarian asshole, basically, depending on how self-aware of it you are.
Absolutely. And none of them seem to be. Well, actually, no, I take that back. Some of them are, and that's what makes them even worse, I think, because they are capable of that self-reflection, but don't care because they're not good people. But I will comment on this. Y'all were seeing, okay, y'all get to see some of my personal recommendations there. Yes, that crazy looking thumbnail, that flute guy, Hermeto Pascal. I watched that video. It was recommended to me, and it keeps getting recommended to me. Okay, if you don't know what I'm talking about, go back and look at the last few videos that ended and see the shirtless guy in the river with the flute. That video is amazing. I have no idea why it's become a thing, but just some guy was shirtless in the jungle playing a flute in the river, and I don't know, in Brazil or something, and it's a vibe. It's a really good video. Anyway, go watch that video. It's really cool. That's what I wanted to say.
I bet it's just worthless as art, objectively.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's also true. There's another comment I saw that was pretty funny. Oh, Alan Showerman was saying that he has a degree in music and in piano, and still thinks Mozart sucks. And like, yeah, I bet maybe for piano, I don't know. He was always okay
It's
for
because
mine.
universities are woke trans factories. They don't
That's
actually teach
got
you
to be
anything.
it. Yeah, if anybody is the most woke, it's the music majors of the world. I think that tends to be the trend. But let's get to this next one here. This is Joel Webbon on the importance of being called a Nazi, anti-Semite, racist, misogynist, bigot. I'm sure he has some really wonderful, thought-provoking things to say on this one, Zod, don't you think? Want to find out?
Yeah, probably means that you're asserting yourself while you're like exercising your free speech. That's my prediction.
That's your prediction. Let's see if you're right.
If you are not being called a Nazi, then you are not pushing
Okay,
against
are
the
we at the
post-war
beginning?
consensus hard enough. You're not.
Yeah.
If you're not being called a racist, then you probably at some level have given in to anti-white discrimination. At some level, you might not be doing it to the level of a Democrat, but at some level, you're probably doing that. If you're not being called anti-Semitic, then you are probably not pushing against Zionism, which is not biblical,
Right.
not true to God's word, hard enough. If you're not being called a misogynist, then you are probably not teaching the clear principles of Scripture as it pertains to men and women. If you're not being called a bigot, then you are probably not frequently and courageously enough speaking about the horrors and the abomination of sodomy.
Yeah.
Have you tried sodomy? Is that how you know it's horrible?
Yeah, how do you know it's that bad? But also, I love the idea. What it take, right? If you aren't literally being called a Nazi, you're not being bigoted enough.
Yeah, that was basically what I thought it was. You're
Yeah.
like, they're all so far out there and they claim everything's racism and everything's this and this. And that if you're not being called that, then you're in line with woke society or godless society, whatever.
Yeah. It's like, it's again, Joel coming in with the takes that just kind of make you say, wow, that's a person out there that unironically thinks this. Maybe
you know-
you just are racist, Joel. I don't know. Maybe that's a you
Yeah.
problem.
Well, if they're not calling you a murderer, then maybe.
Yeah.
It sounds like he just is trying to get ahead of these terms. I don't know.
Yeah. It's like, this is interesting because it's like, okay, if you're not being called a Nazi, then you're this. If you're not being called a racist, what does a real racist look like then? I'm curious. Like if what you're saying isn't racist or what you're saying isn't like that of what a Nazi would say, what do you think real Nazis say? Right? If you're not one. I just don't know.
Have you ever seen Seth Meyers' video, like White Savior, I think it's called?
I don't know. Don't know that I have.
I don't know if that's the title of it, but basically
Can we watch
what's that?
Is it short enough we can watch together on the stream or no?
Let me see. He shows what those movies think a racist is or what a racist has to be.
I haven't seen that before. I'll let you get to that. And while I'm doing that, while Zod's doing that, let me say thank you to everybody who's donated so far.
It's almost 6 minutes long. Might be a bit long.
Might be a bit long. Okay, well maybe we can go back to it. But I will say thank you to everybody who supports the show, who likes and comments and leaves your responses and reactions. Let us know if you like this stuff or don't like this stuff. We try to do different things with the format. Showing a little bit of shorter clips this time, and also I want to show his website at the end. So let me know if you like this kind of thing where it's a bit more jumping. I kind of like it. I feel like it's better than sitting and watching the same video for a really long time, which is what you typically do. But maybe not. Maybe you guys like that kind of stuff. So let me know because we're always experimenting.
They like anything as long as we do it.
That's right.
Cool.
Y'all are the real fans. That's what it means to be Azad. And
Okay, here
supporting
we go.
us whatever we do. You said you want to keep going?
Oh, sorry.
Oh, you got it? You got it pulled up? You want to show something?
Oh, I thought I was somewhere, but it's not. Yeah, it thinks. So basically, the only Seth Meyers, it's like what is it, Green Book or whatever, these movies are basically mostly about the white person, how much of a good person the white person is for being nice to one black person. And it's all about the hero worship of that person. But then it's like they suggest that the only person who's racist or presented as racist is like this total hillbilly.
Yeah.
But that's what when you ask in slight seriousness, when you ask what he thinks a racist is, I think you actually have to be like a trashy Southern rural person who like runs around shouting the N-word, and I don't know.
Yeah. Like when I say America is a racist country, which is a belief that I do hold, I mean it in the sense that people have racist opinions. They don't have to be like literal slaveholders to be racist, right? And some of those ideas also are opinions, but also unconscious ones too, like things that people don't really tease out until they think about it. I think like a lot of studies have suggested this, a lot of surveys have suggested this, that a huge portion of America is absolutely just fucking racist. And that's not just an American thing, by the way. That's a global issue. But yeah, like America has not overcome racism in the way that a lot of people think we have, I guess.
Well, it doesn't even have to be a direct attitude toward another race too. Like you could think that you like them fine, but feel like as a body they should behave differently, and ignoring a lot of socioeconomic factors that put them where they are in their situation. And basically, like, I'm sorry if you've ever said the phrase black on black crime, you're a racist. Like you're ignoring the fact that we throw a whole population of people into a very difficult, almost impossible situation, and then blame them for the fact that there's more crime in that area. And
yeah.
don't try to
If
do
you're
anything with
interested in black on black crime and you're not like a sociologist or somebody whose job it is to understand what that even means and keep track of that, you might be, yeah, you're probably
I'll put it this way: if that's your retort to police violence, then you are definitely a racist.
Yeah, 100%. I co-sign on that. But let's
but getting back to Matt Walsh here.
Timu Matt Walsh, yeah.
One of the things about this is what he says doesn't shock me that much, just because even though it's outlandish and completely ridiculous, and he's very brazen about it, it sounds like a lot of things that I've heard growing up, or like in my young adulthood as a conservative. These aren't new ideas. What is, if anything, is most surprising to me, it's that people are still saying this when you should have every opportunity to be more informed. And he does push the envelope a little bit further in terms of being edgy and everything. But
yeah, like I think that's why I say, like, so Joel is like too radical on face to be a popular person. I think like the Ben Shapiros and the Jordan Petersons of the world like are more as popular as they are because they could be more centrist on some things and have an ability to like be more big tent. And it's that advantage that brings people to the more radicalized extremist stuff like Joel brings to the table, right? Joel is what you get to when like you've been on 4chan for the last 10 years of your life, like posting on poll and like incel forums and stuff. Like Joel's not your like down the street sort of Christian guy that goes to your local Presbyterian church or whatever. I think he's definitely more in that extremist camp. Do you agree with that though, at least?
That what?
That Joel is just, I think Joel represents like the end game for some of these beliefs. I think people like you mentioned you heard this stuff growing up, but like I would argue that people do hold that stuff, but like Joel just has all the bad takes. You know what I mean? Like these kinds of figures, they end up like coalescing into what Joel is, I guess.
One way I put it, and there's different ways to look at this. One way I put it is that he is the extreme end of what you can get to if you think that if you think that you speak for the will of God, or you can impose the idea of something being the will of God onto policy and your expectations of people's behavior. But part of it too, I think what I think I hear you getting at is that he's the logical conclusion of pushing this for this agenda.
Yes.
Like a lot of people who do this, number one, they maybe are trying to be a little more palatable to society, and they're going to say the other part a little louder once they get to their end goal. The other part is some of those people there's a certain appeal to some of these ideas, but they like chasing the car more than they actually want to live in that world. He at least speaks as if he wants to live in that world. And that's what I think is a little more freaky. If that makes sense.
I think I think that's a good way of putting it. Like, you know, the average person doesn't know what fucking theonomy is. I keep bringing up that word because again, he talks about it a lot. You know, like, but Joel does because he is more like in the paint for this stuff because he's a pastor, doesn't have a real job. They can like, you know, look at this stuff all day, right? I think like real working people, they get bits of this, and sometimes the end game is folks like Joel, and sometimes it's just like somewhere in the middle, I think. But I think that's still what makes Joel dangerous because like he's the next step for folks who are kind of already going down that path of radicalization, right? It's like, okay, you're kind of thinking about this stuff, you know, what is the logical conclusion here? What is the end game? And it's like what Joel is preaching, right?
Yeah.
But anyway, now let's get to what I have as the worst clip
Okay.
of this whole thing. You ready for this?
Oh, I'm just so ready.
All right, here we go. This one, Right Wing Watch put a warning on this bad boy. Here we go.
Oh, people are such snowflakes.
Oh yeah, 100%.
I would argue for America for the next 20 to 50 years, there should be virtually zero immigration.
Right.
And I'm not talking about illegal. I'm
Yeah.
talking about legal. No immigration.
Right.
If it's illegal, we need a wall. There need to be, and this is merciful, by the way. I'm not just trying to be unhinged. We need a wall. We need guys on that wall, standing on top of that wall. And if someone starts to approach the wall, there needs to be a warning. Back away. If they don't listen to the warning, they need to be shot. They need to be killed. And my point in saying that is because that will be the more merciful option. Because what will end up happening is you'll have a handful of people that get killed, and then thousands of people that don't experience the misery of coming and then having to be removed,
Yeah,
and
right.
families split up, and all this kind of stuff.
Maybe don't do that.
That is the way biblical justice is
If
done.
one or two die
One is
from being
punished,
shot
and
on
the
the
rest
wall,
stand in fear. That's the Bible's
that'll be
model.
way fewer than the number that die of dehydration trying to
Amen.
cross the desert.
Amen.
Oh, they're such kind-hearted
Yeah,
people.
yeah.
They're really looking out for those.
Oh, we don't want them
immigrants.
dying from dehydration. You know, it's better that they get shot in front of their fucking families, crossing the goddamn border. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
That's that was a journey right there. That one was.
Pretty fucking dark, right? But that's what I'm saying. Like he is like, how do you call yourself a Christian and say this stuff? I don't know. This is even beyond my conservative Christian upbringing, right? Like,
Yeah.
it's
Jake
violent.
Kelsey had a good logistical question. How many guys on the wall, new jobs for 6 million people? Like that's ridiculous on its face, just in terms of just how realistic it is.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead. I feel like I cut you.
No, it's so dark. What a dark worldview. That you're willing, like, this is what he's willing to say out loud, too. You gotta understand, right? Like, what
Yeah.
is he not willing to say out loud? I guess. And you know what? Like, Joel does represent some people's legitimate opinions on this. First of all, I don't remember Jesus ever saying, oh, before I do this miracle on you, or before I can help you, do you have papers? Like, are you here? Like, I don't know what somebody's documented status has to do with treating them like basic fucking human beings. But on top of that, I guarantee you, if Joel's ancestors are anything like mine, it's not like they asked fucking permission to be here. Like, most of our fucking ancestors as white people just kind of showed up and we got documented later. I don't see why we can't do that for people that, you know, do come into this country. But
Well, Dan, are you trying to tell me that all the Native Americans were sitting around singing "Kumbaya" and that they
Oh,
didn't
yeah.
fight wars among themselves?
God, I got told that so much though.
I hate
Like,
those. Yeah.
that was always a thing that you heard. It was like, oh, well, you know, the Native Americans, they were bad too. They warred against each other and stuff like.
And they didn't even have a concept of land ownership.
Yeah,
that
didn't
made
have
all
a
that
concept
made
of-
all the stuff that happened perfectly okay.
That's right. Yeah. I don't know, man. Like, it's just so dark and so sad that somebody could come to this. First of all, you have to wonder, why is a guy like Joel talking about this? Isn't he a fucking pastor? Why is he so interested? And it's because, again, like, religion and politics, especially on the conservative side, ultimately do have a blend in there. There is no one without the other on some level. If you think it through consistently as a Christian, ultimately it will dictate politics on some level. And this is just the conservative version of that, which is just, yeah, people need to be shot on sight because you don't want them in the country for some reason. I don't know. Guess because they're carrying drugs in or something indiscriminately.
Along with the fact that you can't like man a whole wall across the entire border. And is this going to include the Canadian border too, by the way? Like this is going to turn into quite a big thing. Most people don't enter the country across, like they don't enter the country on foot across the border, for one thing. I guess you could say, are you going to stop any travel like on airplanes or anything too? Like, I guess maybe, but like you need people to travel back and forth. There's so many reasons that people have to travel into the country. And I don't know. This isn't realistic, and he's not speaking to an audience that's trying to hear anything realistic or understands all that stuff. So
yeah, it's
obvious too. He doesn't care about whether those people get thirsty wandering across the desert.
No.
This is all about, he doesn't want to see brown people who don't speak English in our country. And
yeah, he like I think he just does like his whole thing he literally said was nobody should be coming in the next like 20 years. What does that even mean? How does that even make any sense? Like people have been coming to this country every day since it's been a country, and you're just going to stop it because you don't personally like it anymore. Why should anybody give a fuck about what you think? What if I want people to come into this country? What if as an American I want to share the fucking prosperity that I've been given from birth, that I didn't fucking earn, that I just was born with? Why does it matter? But according to Joel, we just have to literally kill these people. And of course he's talking about Mexican people. He's not talking about making a border wall at the Canadian border. Okay. So I don't know.
You know, if you don't put one across that border, and all Mexicans will go up there and come in.
You're right. Yeah, listening to their rap music, I guess. Or whatever the fuck they're doing.
Fletcher says, I'm starting to think Joel Webbon doesn't have well thought out policy positions.
Yeah.
But he has the concept of well thought out policy positions.
He does have the concept of well thought out policy positions. Yeah, for sure. Anyway, this guy sucks super hard.
Yeah. What makes me especially mad about this is really, you said you want to share some of the prosperity with other people. A lot of this is prosperity we got by going down and fucking up all the countries in Latin America, not all of them, but a lot of them, and creating the very conditions that make people want to escape to begin with. And then we act like Haiti, for example, we basically created the crisis. Well, we, along with the French, created the crisis in Haiti that made the country so unbearable that people want to leave. And then we act like they're just a certain kind of people and they're going to bring that here. It's just totally appalling.
Yeah, it really is. I tell people I'm open borders, and even for some people who follow politics like we do, they don't fully understand what that means. And they're so hesitant by that sometimes. There's this like, oh, well, we can't just let anybody fuck it in. What do you mean? And it's like, okay, well, do you give a shit if like people from Louisiana move into Texas? Like, how big of a fucking deal is that? Like, like, no, it's not that big of a thing. And same thing with like, in Europe, they already have systems where people can travel in between countries. America has just been so lucky to be in this little isolated bubble where we've only had a few countries close to us that could even make attempts like people have been able to do. And so we're just so closed off to the rest of the world that we don't even realize that it's absolutely totally fucking normal for people from other countries to go and work and live and do things. But yeah, we don't hold that value here. And as a Christian, I don't understand that either. I don't think that makes too much of a sense, but what do I know, right? I'm just a dumb atheist. So,
but even though this is really as simple as his bigotry and trying to find an excuse for it, I think his position isn't really a natural extension of Christianity or of a compassionate practice or expression of Christianity. But if you think about all the rationales for the Old Testament genocides and things like that, I think a lot of apologetics trains people then to turn around and make these kinds of excuses for things like this. Like, I don't know. I don't know if it really leads to it, but when you think about how William Lane Craig justifies the slaughtering of the Canaanites, including their babies, it's actually an act of compassion, because really in the long run, you kill a few, but then in the end, they end up going to heaven, or, these people, I don't know. There's something about making this constant practice of dehumanizing people and acting like the complete slaughter and utter wiping out of their culture is a good thing. I don't think you can train people to rationalize that and to get invested in rationalizing that and think it's never going to bleed over into any other kind of the thinking. Even if it's not a like, this thinking applies here, you're training them at least in a form of laziness or a form of convenient excuse making that's going to make it more possible.
Yes, there is a dehumanizing element there. Absolutely. And Christians, they want to be judge, jury, and executioner, literally, on just all these issues and on all kinds of groups of people, on who gets to be right and wrong in these sorts of things. Hollow Hawk is saying, I'm pretty sure a lot of Texans want Californians to stop going to Texas. Yes, that is absolutely true. They're also idiots, and I will hold them to account for that as well. So there you go.
Yeah.
Also, they can come, so they can help change the fucking colors of this country. Also, as a palate cleanser, Zod, I keep getting asked about the flute video. Can I play the flute video?
Go ahead and play the flute video.
All right, here's a little palate cleanser for you folks. This shit's awesome. Check this shit out right here. This is an amazing experience. Let it cook, okay? Let it cook. Just imagine just popping up in your YouTube feed and you're watching this for the first time, because this was my experience. No other context. Look at this. It looks like a Zelda NPC. You know what I'm saying?
I bet this would be amazing if you're high.
He's gonna give you like a magic bottle. It's so good. I have nothing but questions and no answers, but maybe that's all right.
Speaking of Zelda, it sounds like this could go do 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 do.
It really could. Oh, check this part out. Ooh. They got the Coke bottles. I think it's the next dance here. Here we go. Get the solo ready. Oh, wait. It's still coming. There we go. Some fire shit right here. Imagine you walk outside your house, you're going down your local pathway and you see this shit. What would you do? What would you do?
Join in?
A Sasquatch looking motherfucker. Look at that. Goes in the water.
Oh, the water makes it be like a sliding flute or whatever. Whatever they call those. Slide whistle.
Oh yeah. He's speaking truth. Okay, we don't have to keep watching the whole thing, but you know, I needed that after watching that. That video is awesome. Y'all gotta check that out.
Where is that at now?
Oh wait, what is the title of it? It's Hermeto Pascal Musica de la Goa. You're gonna have to figure it out. You're gonna have to figure it out after me saying that. How to spell that.
Basically, that's the kind of person where if he ran toward the wall, he would get one warning.
Why would you shoot that guy? That's albino Sasquatch.
To keep him from going thirsty in the desert.
He's not going to be thirsty after the water from that flute. I'm telling you, he's got the water of life. all I know is that man's made some decisions in his life that I respect. Okay, that's it. God, it's so cool. I'll never be that cool, you know.
Yeah.
But
You're not sitting there in the water playing a flute like that with a bunch of people joining in with Coke bottles because you're an unhappy person. And
yeah, yeah. I don't see any Nazis doing that. They didn't do that in Oklahoma last week. I'll say that.
it's because it's not real art, just like rap. It's not real art.
That's real art.
And by the way, the only reason you can tell them they're not Nazis is because
I love this new standard by which we can judge things. It's really good. I love the magic of the internet. Anyway, so you want to go back to weird, dumb bullshit? Because we
Sure.
could take a look at his website. Okay.
And if I
Unless
seem
you had-
grumpy about this, it's not. I have a huge headache, so sorry.
Oh, it's because Zod's had to listen to me talk for the last hour because I'm leading the segment tonight. You know.
No, I just have a headache.
Okay. Well, believe what you want to believe.
Okay, it's because of you, because you're loud and annoying. Try to have a quieter spirit.
Yeah, I need to have a. You're right. I do need to have a quieter spirit. I think this is rightresponseministries.com. This is Joel Webbon's website. His last thing, theology applied. Does theonomy have a mechanism for mitigating immigration? Boy, howdy, does it.
Oh God,
You know,
stupid.
Apparently involves shooting people. We watched one of these. I think. Well, we watched the beginning of one of these, which is the one about Taylor Swift. And look, he's got this whole thing on elemental spirits. And he's got a thing about Bigfoot that I have not seen.
It looks like King Kong.
Not sure. He does look like King Kong. That one we might have to check out. Maybe he thinks Bigfoot is real. And look, biblical case for the existence of mermaids. It's odd. So, what do you think of that?
So instead of biblical case or theonomical mechanism, just put dumbass reasons. Like that's really what mushy, intuitive, shoot from your hip based on whatever thought pops off your head first. Intuition, like that's all it is.
Yeah, I'm just curious. Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I want to know what, because like mermaids, huh? Like, where are we going from the Bible for that? I'm trying to think. How do we even get close to mermaids from the Bible? Is there even any verse that comes to mind? He must be doing some deep cut. He must be doing some extra biblical sources, right? Have to be.
I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine.
I don't know.
So he's got all this stuff on here. We can go to his About Our Ministry page. Start with that. Our founder. Here we go. Pastor Joel Webbon is the president and founder of Right Response Ministries and the senior pastor of Covenant Bible Church, located on the north side of Austin, Texas. You're in Georgetown, motherfucker. I looked you up. Okay, that's not Austin. That is not within city limits. So already he's lying on the website. He is the husband of Megan and the father of Olive, Ruth, Eleanor, and Franklin. So that's a lot of things. And check this out. They got this Our Mission statement. Get a load of this, Sod. Our mission. Millions of people in the world today live in the midst of extreme theological poverty. Can you imagine? Theological poverty.
I feel like I could come up with other words for theological poverty. Like,
yeah,
intellectual riches.
Yeah. It's like that's your fucking chief concern. Theological poverty. Wow, amazing.
You're not a nerd for one specific book and its religion and then take it too seriously.
Yeah,
that's theological poverty.
Right. Yeah, definitely. That's really what it is. It's like, look, they're not. I need to. He feels like he's got to be the authoritative source on something, I guess, you know. And other people have to think his worldview is true too.
You take a room full of Christians, and every single one could point at the other one, all the other ones, and say they're theologically impoverished, and all be equally justified because there's nothing to it at all. It's whatever.
Yeah, I know. It's many of us have not even heard the name. Many have not heard the name of Jesus, and many of those who have heard still possess little knowledge of who Jesus truly is. Right Response Ministries is on a mission to change that. How original, huh? Never heard of a ministry saying that before. We aim to help people everywhere begin to embrace a right knowledge of God that will burst forth into a right response of obedience, worship, and heartfelt adoration. Theology is the fuel for doxology. The heart cannot love what the mind does not know.
So he's
Incredible.
saying he's into doxing.
Yeah, that's what that means, I think, for sure.
So hold on.
Mhm.
Many have not heard the name of Jesus.
That's right.
I'm curious who these many people are who haven't heard the name of Jesus. Now, if you want to come up with any plausible answer for that, you're going to have to go well outside the borders of, say, the United States of America, right?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Everybody in America has heard the name of Jesus, or if there's any who haven't, they're like not many by any reasonable whatever count.
Mm-hmm.
So,
most popular religious figure on earth besides maybe Muhammad, in terms of people that have heard about him, right?
I would say Jesus is probably more. I mean,
yeah.
You know, the people who sprung from his civilization were way better colonizers, so his name has been heard more. So anyway, my point is though that if you want to even plausibly get to any number of people who have not heard the name of Jesus, you're going to have to go well outside the United States. But this goal to reach these people who haven't heard his name is coming from somebody who wants to hunker down in this country and shoot anybody who comes in from the outside. So I'm feeling there's a little tension here between these two different ideas.
Yeah, definitely. There is a little bit of tension there that you're pointing at. It's very interesting. I wonder why that would be. You know? Well,
it's almost like he's just a jackass who appeals to everybody's different.
Yeah, it's almost like he just kind of sucks and is just a bad person. If there are bad people, like if there could be a categorically bad person, Joel Webbon fits that description. I'm very comfortable saying that, right?
Yeah.
But you see what I mean between like the difference between someone like Joel and someone like I don't know, Brad Stein. Like Brad Stein thinks that cancer patients shouldn't be called brave. Because he's like an idiot, right? But like Joel is like
he's just trying to make a dumb point based on a play on words.
He's being shock jock dumb bullshit, right? Yeah.
I don't feel like he feels this to his bones and takes it home the way that somebody like Joel does.
Yeah, when Joel talks about this stuff, it's like you feel that hate a little bit, right? Like there's something dark in that heart of his that is really disturbing.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I have a feeling maybe one day this guy's gonna this guy, we may hear about him in the news someday for something. You know what I mean? Like that's the kind of stuff we're talking about here. But
he experiences citizenship dysphoria because the nation of Gilead does not exist, and that's the only place that he really belongs. I mean, when you see people like him, I don't know. The reason is, of course, that the book and the movie, which adapted to a lot more modern thinking, was shaped around people like that in a way that's really uncanny. But some people like that are just such true believers really belong. Like they could only fit there and truly be happy. A lot of the other people, they like the talking points. They like chasing the culture war issues and stuff. But a lot of them wouldn't really be comfortable living with it or really want that.
Right.
He's one of those few people that I am convinced, or at least the way he presents, he seems like he does actually want it.
Yeah.
And that's just incredibly creepy.
Yeah, definitely. I totally am on the same page with you there. I want to point out Merlin's comment though, who says the Sentinelese haven't heard of Jesus and we could send them there. Damn. That's crazy, Merlin. That's crazy. What a wild
The Sentinelese actually do what he wants to do.
You're not even wrong. Wow, yeah, you're right. Not even wrong. I wonder if he would defend that actually. That the Sentinelese have a right to defend themselves as a people group. You think he'd be pro Sentinelese? No, of course not.
Well, it's an act of mercy. I mean, these people are sitting here on boats falling off and drowning, and they just want to save them from themselves.
Jesus Christ. Oh my God. It's so awful. It's so awful. Oh my God. That's that is the logic, right? It's exactly the logic. Oh man. Now look at this. Look at this. Our beliefs, general statement of faith. We affirm both the Apostles' Creed and Nicene Creed. Look at all of this bullshit, Zod. Boring. Right?
This is like every church's website ever. These are the things we affirm. The this and the this and oh, shut the fuck up.
Who the fuck
No.
cares? Look, it keeps look at this one. Specific statement of doctrine. We affirm the 1989 Second London Baptist Confession of Faith. Chapter 1 of the Holy Scriptures. Look at this. That's one chapter here.
I live in America. I know this stuff about you. I don't necessarily know which confession and which creed and which 19 whatever thing from London you follow, but we know what it amounts to, and that just makes us profoundly boring and stupid.
I know it's just like, oh man, you know what? I was with them up until they talked about the 29th chapter of the 1689 Second London Baptist Confession of Faith. Now that one, I have issues with. I won't be joining your church today, sir. Okay.
Well, okay. By 1689, Christianity had been around a hot minute. Like, is that where suddenly this stuff took shape and
You're
got
right.
right?
We finally got it figured out, guys. It took us a little bit. It took us some hot minute, but here we go. We put it into some words.
I don't know
we
if I
can all
used the
agree
word
on.
hot minute there, but it rolled off my tongue and felt right. So
Yeah.
I'm just going to commit to it.
Yeah, it's just I don't know. What a thing to put on your website. So many stuff there. So he has this section on his website that I want to talk about.
Get tickets here. Yes, please.
Oh my god. Oh, it's because I'm zoomed in. Okay, now it says menu. Yeah, he's got an upcoming conference. I'm not going to be able to go. It's in Temple, Texas, which is not very far from where I grew up. That's about 45 minutes. And I wish I could go. It is the same week that I will be on my honeymoon next year, so I can't. But
even if I were a Christian and a really severe conservative one who more or less believed what he did, I would not be interested enough to buy a ticket. I would barely bring myself. He's just boring and not charismatic. And
well, he's got a bunch of other chuds actually. Maybe we can. Oh, I think this is bringing up a new page actually. The title of this. Here, actually, I can switch tabs. I think.
All right. While you're looking, I got to step away for just a second.
Okay. Well, the title of this is "Christ is King: How to Defeat Trash World."
Oh my god!
So I just want to point that out. And they got a mystery speaker, which I guess means they haven't figured it out yet. Who's coming? But this is good because it gives me a lot of other people to look into for their chuddiness. You know what I mean? Like the chud meter. Look at this. Hold on. Zoom in. Computer. Zoom. The chuddiness. I didn't even zoom in on this image. That's stupid. Anyway, it's off the scale, off the charts. Look at this stash on this guy. I don't even know. This guy doesn't even look totally white. I don't know if Joel's going to be okay with that. He might have some issues. He might get kicked off. But anyway, a lot of stuff happening in this place. Yeah, in Temple, fucking Texas. Temple, Texas is not a very big place. I think it's even smaller than Waco. Maybe under 100,000. You know, and it's not like, you know, from Austin, it's about an hour north. Dallas, it's like over 2 hours. So I don't know why they would choose that. They can't get into like a real city, but okay. Temple does also suck. And I'm willing to talk shit about Temple any day of the week. Going back to the other website now while we're waiting on Zod. So he's got all kinds of podcasts. He's got stuff about responders, which doesn't exist. Hilariously, this page is not real, I guess. And he's got this one that I was minding earlier, which is this controversies section. So we should take a look at that. Oh, there he is. Hey, Zod, how's it going?
Oh, it's going great. Wait, there's controversy surrounding this guy?
Yeah, you want to talk about some controversies?
Oh, sure.
It's not satisfying. I will say that. Here, let me try to zoom in again so you guys can see this better. Responding to controversies, I'll just read from the top. Over the years, I found myself in the middle of a few kerfuffles, many of you have been following my ministry for a while now, by the grace of God, Joel Webbon derangement syndrome hasn't fully set in. And so you are genuinely asking for honest answers to valid questions. This is for you. This is also for any newcomers who are intrigued but have heard some of the rumors. I'm hopeful that the following content will serve to resolve your concern.
All right, sorry, you lost me at Joel Webbon derangement syndrome.
Yeah, Joel Webbon derangement syndrome, which is awesome that he's comparing himself to fucking Trump at that level. Really amazing.
Well, and if you just want to come up with a label that blames other people for noticing you're an asshole, then you have problems.
Yeah, 100%. I was reading a Hollyhawks comment who says, Dan, would you consider these guys Theo bros? I think these are the chud end of the Theo bro spectrum, because Theo bros have to come up with the appeal of being like relatively young most of the time, but still trad. So like the trad aesthetic and the sort of hyper masculine parts of that. Joel Webbon doesn't meet that criteria. I don't think like 18 to 25-year-old disaffected young men are looking up to Joel Webbon, right? What is Joel Webbon offering them? Fucking nothing, except maybe explanations about mermaids in the fucking Bible. Like I think the traditional Theobro types that I think are often talked about are the ones who are like appealing to somehow Christianity, but also like Andrew Tate. You know, like that same sort of Venn diagram is what they're going for, which, to be fair, I don't think Joel Webbon's views are any far from, but it's also about aesthetics for these people because they're very shallow, and I don't think Joel meets that. But I don't know. What do you think, Zod?
I don't know.
No,
I think
nothing.
there's the Venn diagram thing. If you're getting at what I think you might have been, I think there is a lot of overlapping appeal. Like I could see, I don't know. I really don't understand all these labels and stuff or who lines up with what. I could see him appealing to a lot of young, angry bros who, I don't know, want an excuse to put women in their place or explain why the world should be orderly in a way that advantages them. And I could see how his theology does that. But on the other hand, it's so boring and has so much.
Oh, sorry, I'm interrupting you.
Oh, no, you go ahead.
Well, I just think Joel Webbon's audience is more of like, oh, I'm gonna sell my, I gotta buy this gold investment in colloidal silver, you know, to prevent so that my family can have something during the next stock market crash. Like that's the kind of type, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
the ones who would unironically buy Mike Lindell's pillows. Like, I think that's Joel Webbon's sort of appeal. I don't think he appeals to the younger types, which is, I think, what the Theo Bro kind of genre more appeals to. But yeah, maybe we should. I'm talking about this with Zod. I think we should talk about more Theo Bro types because that's what seems to be popular. But looking at this website, so these controversies, Zod, again, I mentioned they're disappointing because it's not about, hey, I said that people should be shot basically on site. They get a warning, but they should be shot. Or I think that women are terrible or whatever and aren't deserving of equal rights to men. It is a little bit less than that. So here we go. One of these is, does a husband have authority over what books his wife reads? Disclaimer: over the course of my marriage, there has been one time where I asked my wife not to read a particular book. The book was on pedobaptism, which is just the child baptism stuff.
Yeah.
I've never heard it be called pedobaptism. That's a crazy way to phrase that. Probably a politically charged way of doing it. And then he says, this video explains why I made this decision. I'm not going to watch this whole fucking video.
Wait.
But yeah.
Does a husband... So he doesn't answer that question as far as I can see here.
He doesn't.
He
wants you to go watch a video talking about
his whole answer is a disclaimer.
Yeah.
And basically he just says, I only told her what to read once.
He says, go watch my video.
By implication, the answer is yes. I just haven't exercised that decision often or haven't felt like I had to. So,
but it's like, why should this be controversial? You know what I mean? Like, why are people asking questions about this? Because it sounds like you have. I think he wants you to watch a video because he believes he has a nuanced take, right? What it is he can't put that take to words or text because then would become immediately obvious how fucking stupid it is. But I think that's kind of the presentation here.
He's pulling a Mike Winger. He doesn't want to succinctly and straightforwardly answer a question, so he sends you off to watch something that's so long and boring you're not going to watch it. I don't know if
Yeah.
this is long and boring, but basically he's redirecting.
100%.
Nobody's going to jump, or not many people are going to jump platforms to go watch. And yeah, it's an hour and 20 minutes long.
An hour and 20. Okay, dude, I don't need to watch your hour and 20-minute video. Just tell me your take, right?
And
then
he
maybe
knows
cite
you
your
don't
source.
want to watch it. He's basically filibustering his way out of answering that question.
Yeah. How much authority does a husband/father actually have? Would love to hear your take, Joel. And by love, I mean would rather shove my ears into a garbage disposal. So number 2, should women learn less theology than men? Here's another one. Spoiler alert. No, I believe women should learn just as much theology as men. Oh, thank God, Joel. Oh, well. Glad we got that one fucking squared away. That was the real question of the week, wasn't it? If
Does
women
this
should believe
guy
just
understand the basic concept of answering questions?
yeah, or does he
'Cause
understand
on
what
one
a
of them-
controversy is?
The first question he answers by saying disclaimer, and his whole answer is a disclaimer. This one he answers by saying spoiler. It's like, no, it shouldn't be a spoiler because you should be answering my question right now. Like,
Yeah.
Spoiler.
Hey.
Here's the answer to the question.
Hey Joel, I think saying that illegal undocumented people should be murdered is a little bit more of a take I want to hear about, and not whether you think women should learn less theology than men, my guy. I don't know. I love this one. Mia Henonen says, "Feminist king, feminist icon, Joel Webbon." Everyone, I love that.
I agree with him on one thing, which is that women should learn just as much theology as men.
Yeah, yeah, sure. Which
Both
is
go ahead and learn.
nothing.
Both go
I
ahead
guess.
and learn 0. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Of course. Yeah. In this video, I flesh out my views on the matter and explain why there has been some confusion surrounding my stance. Why has there been confusion? I mean, I guess he's going to explain, but like, why was this ever in question, Joel? Are you that bad at public speaking that this is somehow a weird take to have? Just say, yeah, they should believe the same. But no, you have some weird, quote unquote, nuanced view that actually doesn't mean that they get to learn the same thing, but you're going to pretend like it is. That's my guess. I refuse to watch his fucking shit anymore than I already have at this point.
If you have to make a video fleshing out your views on why women should have to learn things equally, be allowed to learn things equally to men, then that's problematic in itself. Maybe.
Yeah, maybe that's not so great. Here's another one.
Should black people and white people go to the same schools?
Yeah.
Well, spoiler alert, I think so. But here's a video where I explain my thoughts on this very complicated.
It
would be irresponsibly me just to blurt out an answer.
Yeah, you're so right. Yeah, like why is it so hard? Why can't you just put yes to that? Why was it? I don't know. Here's another one. Why should we opt for the label of biblical patriarchy instead of complementarianism? In this video, Pastor Doug Wilson and I draw out the specific distinctions between complementarianism and biblical patriarchy. We also make the case for why Christians should keep the word patriarchy in their vocabulary. Oh, very spicy.
You need that word in your patriarchy to say sentences such as patriarchy is bad, and I don't like Joel because he supports the patriarchy.
Yeah, I mean, that's also the problem because like the Bible literally unironically supports patriarchies. Like it's
you
not
say
even just
segregation like it's a bad thing.
Yeah. That is the vibe. But like no, like we talk about patriarchy as a social construct, but the Bible supports like unironic like man rule. Like that is it's not even subtext, like it's literal text at some points, particularly in Judges, right? Like it's just like never ending. Now people say, oh, but there's some women that were there. Was like, no, it's dudes though. It's everything else is just dudes.
That's the patriarchy version of I have a black friend. Like,
Yeah.
well, I had a woman who was.
What about
a priestess.
Deborah?
Yeah.
Deborah killed a guy. Okay. Feminist icon, Deborah of the Bible, I guess. There's a deep cut for you, those who grew up reading that stuff. But yeah, again, no actual explanations, just another link. Here, go watch my video. Okay. The laziest. At least just like copy and paste your transcript. I don't know.
Well, Dan, this is really fun, but we're at the bottom of the hour and we should probably cut off.
Okay. But
And
don't you want to know his 3 other controversies?
All right, let's make it really quick. I just have
We'll
a
make it
massive
quick.
headache and we're at the end. Yeah.
Number 4, what exactly do you mean when you say you are a Christian nationalist? In this video, Pastor Doug Wilson and I carefully define our terms. We also clearly reject many of the common misrepresentations surrounding the topic of Christian nationalism. So that's cool. And also, I also had the privilege of being one of the lead editors for the Statement on Christian Nationalism and the Gospel. This statement clearly defines Christian nationalism and fully encompasses all my views on the subject. Maybe you shouldn't be on a statement like that. Why? Why are you on a statement like that? I don't know. Just let it burn. Thoughts, comments before I continue? No.
Maybe just answer questions instead of giving people links.
That would be more useful and worthy of people's time.
Here, let somebody else read this question.
Let somebody. Oh, okay. Oh, we're pulling it out. Pulling it out here, folks.
Is there any difference between postmillennialism / gender equity theonomy and the new apostolic reformation / prosperity gospel?
Yeah, I guess there is. Spoiler alert, there's a world of difference. Cool. I'm so glad that's number 5 on your controversies page.
This is number 1 on my list of who the fuck cares.
Yeah. Yeah. In this video, I make all the important distinctions abundantly clear. That's great because in this paragraph, you certainly fucking don't. Last one. Do you think all Christians living in blue states like California are stupid? Spoiler alert. No, it's not a spoiler alert. It's you should be writing this tier. Why is it a spoiler alert for your fucking stupid thing? But anyway, spoiler alert. No, I believe
that's like if you get to the 3rd act of a movie and say, spoiler alert, this is what happens. This is where you're supposed to explain this stuff. It's after the question.
Yeah, you're right. Spoiler alert. No, I believe Christian parents, particularly fathers, who are failing in their duties to protect and provide for their children and could remedy this problem by relocating but deliberately choose not to, are being foolish. And the Apostle Paul calls these men apostates who are, quote, worse than an unbeliever, unquote. In the spirit of charity, I opted to merely call these men stupid. To discover my full views on the subject, you can download a free PDF of my ebook, Fight by Flight here. And he's got a whole ass fucking book that I'm not reading right now, but is probably about people migrating from California or something. I don't know.
That's a stupidly phrased question, even going to the fact that the idea of red states and blue states is just like a totally artificial thing on maps to begin with. It's dumb.
And if you do decide to leave a blue state or even a liberal country, don't be a self-righteous jerk. Don't look down on those who see things differently than you do. Continue to speak the truth in love and resolve never to be a bitter prophet. After all, leaving places like California doesn't mean you should ever stop loving places like California. Yeah, don't be a self-righteous jerk like somebody that advocates for fucking shooting children at the border. Right? Don't want to be that guy.
Yep.
Anyway, that's a little bit of Joel Webbon, everybody. Thanks for joining us today on the show.
Well, Dan, answer me this. What would you do if you saw a child dying a long, miserable death of thirst?
Well, I put a bullet to the head.
What did the Bible say? I was thirsty and you gave me gunfire? No.
Yeah, it says something about the Second Amendment, I think. I think that's in there. What book of the Bible is the Second Amendment in?
All of them.
All of them? Yeah, you're right. Good answer.
Right next to the mermaids.
Right, yeah, right next to the mermaids. That was fun. I enjoyed this one, folks. Thanks for coming on the show with us. Zod is ready to go, so we'll put him out of his mercy and treat him like we would treat a thirsty child in the desert. So thanks for playing.
I'm really
everybody.
sorry. I'm hurting, guys. I gotta get off and go to bed.
Alrighty.
All right. Good
See you
night.
later.
Voy a cantar esta canción con mucho cariño de mi corazón a la República Dominicana, la casa del merengue y la casa de la bachata. Voy a cantar esta canción con mucho cariño de mi corazón a la República Dominicana, la casa del merengue y la casa de la bachata. La, 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 la casa del merengue. La, 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 y la casa de la bachata. Música